Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Atheist Avengers. We have a special guest that dropped by the studio, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But I thought I'd play something for you guys today. There is the House Bill 2 that a lot of you are familiar with, which is our anti-discrimination law, which basically says that transgender people are forced to use the bathroom of their assignment at birth as opposed to their identify with now. I just thought you guys would enjoy, after the anti-discrimination ordinance that was passed in Charlotte, which is what started all of this conversation, because of course, once they passed anti-discrimination ordinance, then of course the state needs to come in behind this city and nip that in the butt, because anti-discrimination, well, we just can't be having that. We need to discriminate. As Christians and Republicans and the right, we need to discriminate. So here we go. This is a pastor in the Concord area right outside of Charlotte. Just take a listen. This just gives you an idea of the craziness behind forcing this law to be passed. This also gives you an idea of the craziness behind why this law will ultimately fail.
Then the first speaker this evening is Mr. Flip Benham from Concord, North Carolina. You have 3 minutes.
Miss Mayor, Council, good to be with you. What I just heard Mr. Mitchell read was just this, and the way that you received it was just a way of putting your middle finger right in the eye of Almighty God and saying that we are God, that we determine what is right and what is wrong. We do. And this book is just discarded. This book called the Bible. You know, it tells us in the Bible, just a word, unless the Lord builds the house, those who labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stands guard in vain. In vain you rise up early, toiling, doing all of your things. And God grants sleep to his beloved. Miss Kinsey prayed a prayer. I don't know if that was in the name of Jesus or not. She covered pretty much a number of bases, and that was interesting. But there is one God, and his name is Jesus. And we're going to stand for him in this city. You started the ball rolling on February 28th with this whole transgender issue. You, Miss Roberts, purposefully decided that you were going to go ahead and do this. You were going to try and make transgenderism, sexual orientation, sexual identity now as somehow a civil right. Ma'am, you cannot make a moral wrong a civil right. You have no right to do that. It's a moral wrong.
Let's let him
God
speak.
has, ma'am, I'm speaking.
Let him have his 3 minutes.
I'm speaking. And ma'am, don't interrupt me, please. You do that all the time.
No,
Whenever I speak.
I interrupted the group to let you speak.
Ma'am, that's all right. They can say whatever they want to say, because if God doesn't fix this city, if God isn't the answer, if God isn't at the foundation, you're going to have bloodshed coursing down the corridors of our streets, our schools, and our workplaces, and you're not going to have a police force big enough to stop it. Because when you sow bloodshed in the womb, and the 3 abortion mills here in this city, you're going to reap it in the streets. And our God is a God of truth. And these things happen. And when you cast God behind your back, violence always comes in to replace the void. That's why we've got in our schools right now, we've got metal detectors and policemen, because they're trying to stop the gangs and violence and drugs that our kids are being turned over to. And now we got this transgenderism nonsense. Listen, it's not a sin to be black, but it is a sin to be a practicing homosexual. It is a sin. It is not a moral right. It is wrong. And you need to say so. And you've opened up the doors of hell on our city. You and this council. And you need to repent. I'd like to offer up a reward to you that if you'll repent right now in the name of Jesus, there will be peace returning to this city. Now, Miss Roberts, what will you do?
That's your 3 minutes, Mr. Benham. That's your 3 minutes. Your time is up.
You got to thank the Lord, right?
I'm actually an atheist. There is absolutely no doubt that atheism will win hands down.
If I were in a situation where I could stop a child rapist, I would. That's the difference between me and your God.
Welcome to Atheist Avengers Radio with your hosts, Agent Wyatt Mathers and Major MacGuffin. Our continuing mission is to explore our world, to seek out injustices and oppressive ideologies, to leave science and reason in our wake, fighting for justice, truth, and equality for all. We are here to inspire the next generation of godless heroes, avenge the harms of religion, educate the uninformed, and ensure the well-being of all individuals by defending the separation between church and state. The Atheist Avengers. Because together, we can change the world.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Atheist Avengers, the show where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. I stole that.
Who'd we steal it from?
I don't know.
Oh, shit.
Whose line is it anyway? That's a great show.
It's a
wonderful show.
It's a wonderful show.
So we're doing a kind of a laid-back, casual episode today.
I thought they all were.
Well, they all are, really are. But to my left, as always, I've got my fellow co-host.
To his left is his right-hand man.
Major Mac.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, Major?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm pretty good. I'm getting kind of stressed because ReasonCon's on its way.
Yes, it is.
Somebody said the other day how many months it was, and I was like, no.
Yeah, it's less than a year away.
Oh, Lordy. Okay.
About 10 months, what?
Freaking out.
9
just
or
a
10
little
months?
bit. Yeah, I mean, way too quick. We got a lot to do. So
8 months.
8 months.
That's what I was thinking. It was like 8 months.
That's all right. We did
So-
the last one in less than that.
It's going to be a good time. We're going to have great people speaking. So I'm looking forward to it. So we were just sitting around today and some drunk chick wandered into our studio. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to put her on mic. I know everybody's been asking, and here she is. Back for a special appearance, we've got Captain Love.
And she's not wearing pants.
I felt like there should have been cheering. Where was my
I put it in post.
Oh, okay. It's like, hey, as long as there's cheering, I'm good. So, hey, y'all. How you doing?
Good.
All right.
We've just been tootling along without you because you've been traveling the world and just totally dissing us and not returning calls and
Yeah,
all
my
that
bad.
kind of stuff because you've been too busy living life.
Well,
I mean,
you know,
how freaking dare you?
I know. And I'm not, I do have overseas coverage on my cell phone, but it's not great. So sometimes, you know, when I was like in Honduras or Belize or Mexico, Canada, sometimes it was just hard to get that phone call.
Right. No. I know you saw my number and you're like, fuck this. I'm going to drink this other drink.
I would have called him collect.
Be like, I'm returning your phone call.
Right? Yeah. Well, we're glad you stopped by. It's always nice to see you. It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's
since
been
we got to
almost-
hang out.
It's been, what, 10 months since we've seen each other?
Yeah, since the Carolina Secular Conference.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been a long time ago. Was that the last thing?
I'm pretty sure. Because that's when.
When was the Atheist Alliance?
Oh, no, because we did that the next weekend
That was the next weekend.
or the weekend after. But yeah, it was like right then. So it was
Same-
still. it was-
Same
right
damn
there.
month.
Yeah.
Pretty close to it. But anyway, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And
Because it was right after the Atheist Alliance of America conference that I retired from the movement.
That was in October.
retired, just dropped out of everything. Just
Oh, I
completely
did.
ran away.
I was like, Psh, and I'm out.
You're like, you were all Sir Robin on it, like he's running away.
That's the ultimate mic drop.
Yeah.
It was. I even changed my phone number and didn't tell people. I changed my email address, didn't tell anybody.
No. You don't tell everybody you changed your phone number. And now they're just texting you and they're thinking you're not responding. So you're
Oh, that
good.
would. Oh, see, that was. I like that.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
555, fuck off.
Actually, I really
you.
seriously feel bad for whoever got that phone number
Oh, no.
after me. Because, you know, they probably recycled that thing within a week. And I'd had that number for 15 years.
Yeah. I think they have
Oh,
to keep
wow.
them dead for a little while.
Is your dealer still call?
I think for like a year or something. Probably. So just tell us what have you been doing? And I don't know. You tell me how much you want to talk about, but just
whatever stuff
a lot
legal.
of people's interested in, kind of your decision to leave the movement, and your decision to be retired, and kind of how you made that decision and what led up to it.
I was going to say, wow, the reason why I left the movement. That's a really loaded question. We'd have to probably do a 6 weeks of shows to kind of get there.
Right.
Long story short was I had burnt out a bit. But most of all, when people like yourself and me and others that are really dedicated, we spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort. We're often the person that gets shit on as well. Mm-hmm. And, one too many times of just being shit on. And sadly, some of which was by, leaders of national groups that I thought, you know what, why am I spending roughly $10,000 a year in the movement? Probably on a slow week, 25 hours of my time during conferences. I was putting in probably 100-hour weeks. And was literally not getting anything out of it. In the beginning, it was exciting because you meet these people that have just left religion, or they've never met another atheist. They've never been to a conference, and it's exciting. And they get you really just going, and you're on fire, and you're just like, this is the greatest thing ever. But after a while, those people, become such a small group, and it's the crap that becomes so big that
they bleed into the assholes.
Yeah. And it just got to the point that, I was starting to suffer from depression. Literally, it was bad for a while. And my family was kind of worried about me. I couldn't take the negativity anymore.
Yeah.
And, it's been all over that some of the stuff that's happened with some of the national groups and some of the leaders. And, that was the stuff that was happening when I left, and nothing was being solved at that point. These people were getting away with horrific things and doing things that were just so wrong, and I couldn't fix it. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything. And so, yeah, I finally just went, I'm out. And I did. I pretty much left every group on Facebook. Like I said, I changed my email. I changed my phone. I just walked away. And, I kept several really good friends, that were friends in real life, not just on Facebook or in the movement but other than that, I just walked away, and, I really thought I was going to miss it. I mean, everybody was kind of betting that they were going to give me about 2 months, and I was going to be like, okay, I've taken a breather. I've recouped. I'm good. I'm back in. And, that was not the case. The longer I was away, the more I was like, why did I ever do that? Which is terrible to say, but,
yeah.
It's the truth.
Well, you probably bowed out at a good time, because it's all the infighting and everything that's been going on. It's so unproductive right now. It's frustrating for all of us. The people who are still in the movement and are trying to power through and go, okay, well, let's sort this out and this out and this out, and let's try to move past it so that we can be productive again, people. And then you've got the people that's just, they seem like they're not interested in being productive. They're just interested in the infighting and, this whole drama.
And they thrive on the drama.
Yeah, they thrive on it.
And I saw so much of that when I was in the movement. A lot of the leaders, a lot of the people they put in charge of things were those kind of people that thrived on all that drama, and they liked watching people fall apart, manipulating and doing all that and getting a rise out of people and watching everybody freak out. And I would just be like, the fuck does this do for anybody? Yeah. It's, you may be entertaining for you, but for the rest of us, it's not good. And I'm still friends with enough people on Facebook. I have been seeing what's been happening, especially over like the last 6 to 9 months. It's kind of hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you, like for myself, having seen things firsthand, when you see people that are, deceptive, they've lied, they've cheated, they've stolen, they badmouth people. I mean, they really hurt people, and you see people defending them constantly. Oh no, they're really great. And you saw firsthand, you watched what they did. It's so, I have to walk away. I'll walk away from Facebook. I won't get on Facebook for 2 days because I'm like, I can't. I'm getting sucked back in, and I can't do this. but it's also hard to watch the infighting. Instead of people saying, well, I see why you feel that way. This is how I feel. And then just saying, okay, that's it. Everybody has to be right. They have to prove that they're right. I watched that with these damn elections, that whole Bernie or bust and the Hillary, and that drove me insane. So again, had to get off Facebook for a bit. It was too emotional for me. And I was very emotionally invested in the atheist movement, very emotionally invested in it. And it was destroying me, and it was destroying who I was. And I didn't like that. So, not too long, well, right around the time that my final conferences happened, my beloved grandmother died. And that was hard. And I still get, it's been on a year and I still get choked up. Sometimes I forget she's died because I'll go pick up the phone to call her. And then I'm like, oh, she's not with us. But bless her heart, she left me some money. So we took that money, and I should have paid off all the loans I've taken out over the last 3 years to pay for conferences. But instead, we started traveling. And so basically I'd get on, travel websites and just start looking. I'd be like, ooh, this looks like fun. Book it, and we'd go. So between November and now, I've been to like 8 different countries. We did a 3-week tour through Florida.
I'm sorry.
Is there enough stuff to see in Florida for 3 weeks?
We spent
and she was trying to stay away from the crazy.
We spent about a week down in South Beach, which is where my father grew up. And this whole trip was actually planned because he had a reunion with his buddies. He's got a group of friends. They're called the Hars. And they've been friends. Some of them have been friends.
The Hars?
Hars, like HARRS, Hars.
Is that an acronym? Or something?
It stands for something, but it's this whole secret thing.
But, right. If you told us, you'd have to kill us. I get it. Okay. Gotcha.
That's exactly right. And I'm really trying to leave that violent shit behind. Anyways, so this whole trip got planned because he had this reunion with his buddies. And some of them have been friends since elementary school. A couple of them have. The rest of them have been friends since like 6th or 7th grade, like junior high. So these guys have been friends for like almost 60 years. And every few years they get together and they hang out. And so this was one of those years they were doing.
Oh, wow.
And I told my dad, cause I knew several of them and, had grown up around them. Hadn't seen any of them in probably 25, 30 years. So I basically told my dad we were going. My husband and I were coming. Like I wasn't asking. We're just coming. So, so we decided to do a road trip and then kind of stretch it out for a while. And we basically, all the places my dad was, he's a dive master. He was a big surfer growing up.
Wow.
And he took us all over Florida, all the places that he went surfing as a kid.
Your dad is Jimmy Buffett?
Cooler.
He actually kind of looks like him.
He does a little bit, not going to lie.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
He really does.
Well, I was going to say, and he never waits till 5 o'clock to have a drink.
Neither does Jimmy Buffett.
No.
But yeah, so we went down there and we had a great time. We drank entirely too much.
Is there such a thing?
Right.
When I'd wake up in the morning, my little liver had like crutches and shit. It was kind of scooting along. I was like,
I'm having to process this. Captain Love drank too much. I never thought I'd hear about that happening.
oh God. And you get, especially if you get, my dad, myself.
You are directly responsible for the condition of my liver to this day.
Probably responsible for half the fucking movement's liver by this point.
Yeah, no kidding. No? As I drink another beer.
But if you put my dad, my oldest son, and myself together, we go through some fucking alcohol, let me tell you.
Oh, gosh.
And some freaking jail cells.
Yeah. But it's been fun.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you're happy. I mean, that's what it's all about in life. Is no matter what you're doing, you got to be happy doing it. And but you left us here trying to pick up the pieces. We're trying to figure out how to move forward. And like I said, I keep using the word be productive again. And I think that's the main thing is right now we're not productive as a movement, as a whatever the hell we are. I've never been completely invested in the word movement because I don't really know. What are we moving towards? We're moving towards reason, logic. Using these things in everyday life, but everybody argues about what those things actually mean. But the bottom line is to be productive. And to be productive in what we're trying to do is a lot of social justice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And being social justice warriors.
Yes.
But for some reason, that's become this big trigger word, and everybody's afraid of
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I, till this day, I still, if somebody starts slamming social justice warriors on Facebook, I'll comment, I'm a social justice warrior. That's all I say.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times they'll message me or they'll comment right, oh, I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
Then who the fuck are you talking about? And, I just.
I think maybe we're losing sight of exactly what that is. I don't know if you can or not. It's maybe one of those things you can't really define, but can you kind of tell us what social justice warrioring? Is that a word? Demanda.
No.
It's not a word, Demanda.
It sounds like
officially says
no,
not
sorry.
a word.
I say it's a word. Change approved.
I can't believe I will never be able to pronounce it again.
Warrioring.
Actually. Warrioring. But what exactly does that mean to you?
See, to me, that means taking care of your community. It means standing up for LGBTQ rights, and donating money, writing your congressman, going to marches, whatever it is to support their equality. It means supporting, equal pay for women in the workforce. It means feeding the hungry children do you know how many thousands of kids go to school each week and the only food they eat is what they're served at school that week? So that means when they go home Friday afternoon until they return Monday morning, they don't have food at home.
Yeah.
Where I live, my very small county, we have about 3,000 students every week that go home hungry.
Wow.
So to me, it's about making sure those kids eat. And beyond that, because let's face it, if a kid's not eating, their brain isn't getting the nutrients they need. They're not developing. They're not learning. They're not going to grow. They're not going to be productive in society later on. But let's take it even further with the kids. Let's make sure kids go to college. Let's make sure we're bettering society. To me, being a social justice warrior is making sure that everybody is treated equally. Everybody is given fairness and compassion.
Yeah.
It's about being a good fucking neighbor. And so I don't understand this idea of it being this negative thing. People say we're becoming too politically correct. That's what I've been told. That you're being too politically correct.
Yeah.
You know what? What's wrong with that? As we get older and we understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I said things that I look back now. I said things 25 years ago that now I'm like, holy shit, that was racist.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time. I was stupid. I was, a kid. I had no idea. And as I got older and learned, crap, that's racist. Well, I've got a lot of friends and many different cultures, and I would never want them to feel bad. I love these people. And so when I realized these things were racist, well, then I stopped saying them.
And then you correct other people or try to help them understand.
It's the same thing about feminism, because a lot of people hate feminism too. And I don't understand that, because I'm a feminist. But you know what? I didn't actually come out as a feminist until a few years ago, because even I, coming out of religion, even though I haven't been in religion in almost 20 years now, there was still these little things that kind of lingered. And feminism was one of those things that it took me a little while to go, wait, my views of that were from religion, not because of what I think. But all these things are important. I think being politically correct is okay. I get that comedians are different, but I can tell you right now, if I go to a comedy club and the comedian is going to do nothing but make fun of black people, I'm out of there. It's not funny to me. To me, it's insulting. Now, if I go to a comedy club and they're making fun of white people, my ass is going to be laughing.
Yeah.
Because they're making fun of me. And
Exactly.
but I don't think there's anything wrong with being politically correct.
Right.
And sometimes maybe people take it a little too far. I hear people complain about the trigger warnings on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with giving trigger warnings. What if this person next to you was a victim of horrible, rape, and now you're posting something about rape? You might be sending that person back to that moment.
Exactly.
So putting trigger warning, that's not a bad thing. Right. And you know what? If that shit bothers you, then you can also unfriend and block people.
Yes.
I unfriended 9 people when I was upstairs pretending I was taking a nap.
I think it's a difficult line, and I hesitate to talk about it or trying to define it myself, because I think my definition can change from day to day. How I actually look at what you would call social justice, because I do think that there's a thing called free speech, and people are allowed to say,
I agree,
whatever they want.
But they also have to be ready for those consequences that come with it.
Exactly. There's a line, or there's a place at which people can be harmed. For instance, if you are constantly spewing rhetoric that gay people are evil and deserve to be bashed, then okay, that's a problem. And
you're inciting violence.
Is where you do not deserve to speak like that.
That's
anymore.
hate speech.
That's like yelling fire in a crowded building.
Right.
I mean, by saying things like that, you're causing harm to another human being.
Yeah.
Especially if you're telling people they should be bashed or they should be burned or they should be ostracized. Right. That's going beyond having an opinion and not liking somebody. That's actually trying to intentionally cause harm to another human being, which is why you can't yell fire in a crowded room if there's no fire.
I don't give a rat's ass what your Bible says, and I'm just quoting the Bible thing. I don't care. Your Bible's wrong. So, but, where's that line? Are there times where I hear people say things and I'm like, they had the right to say that. I don't agree with them. I think they're an asshole. I think they're making themselves look stupid. But guess what? They have a right to say it. They can say it. I don't care. It's not really hurting anyone, because anyone who doesn't like what they're saying doesn't have to listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you get these people who jump in there and they just attack and they just go after these people. And it's like, there's far better fights.
Yes.
There's far better battles for you to fight than to focus on that.
Yeah.
But again, that's my opinion. I can't say that they're right or wrong. It's just my opinion on it. So it's a real difficult subject for me to define, because I really do think it changes.
Well, it's like if we don't like that Trump and his tiny hands are racist, then we absolutely have the right to not vote for him and to encourage others to not vote for him.
Exactly.
But getting on, like on the show and then being like, oh, well, I think somebody should go out and murder him. Excuse me, that's incredibly wrong. That's a whole different. And sometimes I don't think that line is nearly as blurry as people try to make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people have the right to say whatever they want. Like, I think Trump has tiny hands.
Yeah.
And he looks like a friggin' Cheeto.
Well, he's been able to say what he wants, but what it is like if his people, his fans, his audience or whatever, if they start inciting the violence, then it's on them, not on him, because he was able to say what he wanted. We don't agree with what he's saying, but he has the right to say it.
Right.
Unless when he gets up there and he's like, oh, I'd totally pay the lawyer fees of whoever punched so-and-so.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. When you start doing that, then you're bringing that shit on.
Now,
and
that
I think
is true.
He should be held accountable.
Now, that one he would be.
But, people post, and I'm going to keep going back to, I'm sure, the Hillary and Bernie thing, just because it's easy to make my point. But I would post something nice about Hillary, and I would have, 15 people come on there and start bashing her and then bash me.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if you come on my personal Facebook page and tell me I'm a cunt because I'm voting for Hillary, you're out of here. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to have a civil talk. I'm just going to block you. You're done.
Exactly.
But sometimes it got really annoying. And so I found myself actually posting more articles about Hillary because people were bashing me. It was kind of if you're going to come here and insult me, then I'm just going to post 500 more articles just to piss you off. And then eventually I was like, all right, this is just getting stupid. But I get that they didn't agree with me, and I have no problem someone coming on and being like, I don't agree with her policies and this is why.
Right.
That's fine. We can have a discussion. But if you come on a name call, I would never go to somebody's page, and I had lots of friends who were Bernie or bust and still are. I would never go to their page and be like, well, you're stupid. That's a stupid stance to take.
Exactly.
That's their opinion. That's how they feel. And so people need to remember that you don't need to go get in someone's face when you disagree with them. They're, especially on Facebook and social media, there are lots of times that just unfriend them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think sometimes.
Wyatt's voting Trump. Wyatt is voting Trump.
It's a good thing Wyatt's a fictional character.
That's hysterical.
He has no voting rights. He cannot vote. He doesn't have a social security number.
There's one of the guys that had like a YouTube show or something. I can't think of his name. He's a real idiot and conned a lot of people out of money. But He would get
that
on there.
really narrows it down.
I know, it really did.
Did it start with reverend or preacher or bishop, cardinal?
Sorry, he was in the atheist movement. But anyways, he would get on there and say just really ugly, hateful things, and he spewed a lot of racist bullshit. And
You're still not narrowing it down.
No.
I know. It's so sad. But, I unsubscribed from his YouTube channel and I refuse to talk about him on social media. That's why I'm not saying his name, because I'm not going to bring any more attention to him. Mm-hmm. And so I think this idea that we need to run around and police everybody to make sure everybody's politically correct is a mistake.
Yep.
If you're standing next to me and you say something racist, I'm going to call you out.
Yep.
But I'm not going to run around Facebook going to everybody's page to make sure they're being as politically correct as I am. Yep. I'm sorry, because now you're just a fucking nosy body and just, good God, sit down for a minute.
Yeah, go play a game.
Yeah. Well, the one of the things that I really get frustrated with right now is the whole Black Lives Matter and the All Lives Matter thing, because you're just being an asshole.
Hell, I just saw something.
When you go, you're just against someone saying Black Lives Matter, and you're just being an asshole.
You are, and I just saw something that really kind of confuses me as well. I love cats. I just saw something on. No, it just goes along with it. There's a damn T-shirt out now that says "Cat Lives Matter," and I'm looking at this and I'm like, "Is that like All Lives Matter shit now?" What is this?
It's funny because my first thought was that they were being funny. They were like, that's how ridiculous your all lives matter is. I'm going to make shit that says, all cats lives matter.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, which one are we making fun of now? That's why I was like, I don't think that was tasteful or anything. I was like, I don't know about that.
When it comes to all lives matter, this is what I have to say about that. If you are white, shut the fuck up and sit down.
There you go.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
Mic drop.
I heard, and I wish I could claim this for myself, but it wasn't. It was a comedian that I heard, and if I can remember where I got it from, I will link him in the show notes.
He'll never remember.
But he was talking about the Confederate flag, and he was talking about how you standing here saying, I'm an all-American and I'm for this Confederate flag. You totally missed the point of what the fuck the Confederate flag stood for.
Yeah.
It was anti-American or anti-United States. Mm-hmm. That was what it was all about. And so he made the comment that, standing there saying you're an American while trying to defend the Confederate flag was like saying you're against gay rights while you have the dick in your mouth. I wish I could claim that for mine.
Oh, that's good.
But, and I think that's where, you got so many people around and they're spewing so many things, but they're...
Hold on. Let me just put this up so we can... This is my ringtone. It's one of my kids calling. And it's so funny because I did this because as a parent, especially as mothers, if you hear somebody yell mom, you instantly turn around. Even if you know that's not even the sound of your kid's voice, you just instinctively turn around. So I thought I'll make that my ringtone. It's perfect. Because now that I've changed my number and only like 5 people have my phone number, I actually have a ringer on. I never had my ringer on. For 10 years, my ringer stayed off 24/7. But now I can turn my ringer on, which... Of course, I keep forgetting it's on. So it just went off now. It went off in the movie the other night, too. I was like, oh, shit, that's right. I have a ringer now. But I put that on there. I was like, oh, they'll say mom. I'll know it's one of the kids and I'll answer. Or let's be realistic. I'm going to walk away and be like, shh, I didn't hear that. But the other day, I was actually waiting for my oldest son to call. He had run to the store. All right, I'll be honest. He went to Starbucks for me. And I wanted that waffle cone. I wanted that waffle cone frappuccino thingy or whatever.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't ever drink coffee, so that's my version.
Drinks.
That's my version of coffee.
Starbucks.
Oh yeah, we went to Starbucks before we came here.
I like the grown-up milkshakes. They're delicious. I can only have one about once a year because I don't sleep for about 24 hours. But anyways, I'd sent him.
Is this why we were up at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, because I had it yesterday. So yeah, all this took place. Oh yeah, this all took place yesterday. It's been a long fucking 24 hours.
So when you stay up all night, it
I know.
does feel like that.
That's what happens when you're retired. You don't have to worry about time.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll get more into my retirement here in a few. That got a lot to talk about with that one.
We haven't seen each other in a long time. There was a lot of catching up to do. Yeah.
You can keep that personal.
But I'm hearing the ringtone. And I'm thinking it's something on the TV because I keep stopping and looking. And I'm like, it's not on the TV. And I'm doing some laundry and I kept hearing it again. And finally I was like, oh my God, it's him calling me to ask me about the coffee, which of course they didn't have the one I wanted. So he was calling to ask me what I wanted instead. So my whole very long story now was just, my point was that I thought I was being clever by having this ringtone that I would recognize that was my child calling. And no,
Didn't work.
You just thought somebody
I heard
turned on
mom
Family Guy.
and my brain shut down.
Mom, ignore.
I had to stop talking about Family Guy. They were making fun of me because I was like,
he was the only asshole on the show that knew about it.
This
Everybody
one
else, like,
time-
nobody watched it.
one time on Family Guy. Did you see this one?
Everybody's like, no.
No, we didn't see it. We told you we didn't
I've seen a
watch it.
couple of
Shut the fuck
episodes
up.
and I was just like, it's just, I guess it's not my cup of tea.
I think
The last time I
Seth
actually watched
MacFarlane's a
regularly,
genius.
last time I watched TV was probably in the 80s. But I can tell you about, the A-Team, Battlestar Galactica, kind of stuff like that.
Oh, I loved 80s Battlestar Galactica.
See? Dirk Benedict.
I was an A-Team fan. Yeah, definitely.
The real Starbuck.
Their cars would flip 3 times, roll over, explode, and the guys would still crawl out of them.
Well,
They were
yeah.
fine. Nobody died on that show ever.
Nope. But they had hellacious car stunts.
We've been going back and watching. We started Magnum PI over.
Oh.
That was
yeah.
when I fell in love with Tom Selleck.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I was like,
I got a problem with that show. The
11.
problem is my mother had a thing for Tom Selleck, and I just can't hardly watch him without thinking about that now, and I really don't want to think about mother having a crush on him.
he was so sexy. He still is, which is crazy because I think he's like 2 years older than my father. And I was like, oh, now that's kind of creepy. Like when that all came in. But some of my first wet dreams were about Tom Selleck. So yeah. So we went back and started watching Magnum PI all over again. It is still as good now as it was.
Yes.
I'm like, why don't you pick up a cell phone? I'm like, oh yeah, they didn't have those back then. So occasionally I have to remind myself that they didn't have the same technology, but the storylines were just as good.
Well,
We had such good TV shows.
you know what? I think it's a good place to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about
My retirement. Just kidding.
we'll talk about Captain Love's wet dreams and unsolicited dick pics.
Yay!
I don't know about that one.
And now this word from some dude who's never had butt sex.
God's going to put a cancer in the butthole. God's going to put a cancer in the butthole of every sodomite. Every sodomite's butthole will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down because of the burning in their butthole. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole. God's going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. You're going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. If you thought that AIDS was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet until you see the flaming butthole. Your butthole will be flaming and you will not be able to sit down until you have a flame coming out of your butthole. And there'll be people walking around all over America with flames coming out of their butthole. And everyone who takes it up the rear, everyone who has a penis injected in his butthole, when that penis comes out, the flame will start burning. Because ain't nobody gonna stick no penis in that flame. That flame will be an eternal flame coming out of the butthole of every sodomite. Flame coming out of the butthole, flame coming out of your butt. That man pulls that penis out of you, a flame is gonna come out. And nobody will ever stick a penis in your butthole again because it will be on fire. You ain't seen nothing till you see the flame coming out of T.D. Jake's butt. Lightning bug got a flame coming out of his butt and all flames shooting out of their behinds. You're going to see the power of God. Flame of fire is going to come out their butthole.
Oh, you poor misinformed bastard. I have some fabulous friends who would love to tell you how wrong you are.
You are listening to the Atheist Avengers.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes, or cutaway coat, perfect fits. Dressed up like $1 million trooper. Trying mighty hard to look like Gary Cooper.
Hey everybody, this is Andrew Garber from the Atheist Roundtable podcast. Find the Atheist Roundtable on Blog Talk Radio, or you can find the fan page for the Atheist Roundtable on Facebook. I'm here to tell you about the most amazing event coming to us in 2017. It's going to happen on April 21st and 22nd. It's going to happen at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Hickory, North Carolina, and it is ReasonCon 3. ReasonCon is the most amazing event that you will ever see. It is so freaking awesome. Already, we have amazing speakers lined up for ReasonCon 3, like Lawrence Krauss, Matt Dillahunty, Aaron Raw, and Callie Wright will all be at ReasonCon 3. So many more people will be there. Just go to reasonnc.com so that you can be the first to know when people are added to that roster. Every year, ReasonCon is the time when you can meet some of your favorite podcasters, and I can guarantee you that ReasonCon 3 will be no exception to that. I can almost guarantee that people like the Atheist Avengers will be there, that Promoting Secular Feminism will be there, that that No Religion Required will be there, that the Barroom Atheist will be there, the Atheist Roundtable, that's me, I'll definitely be there, and I know that so many more podcasters that you know and love are going to come back to ReasonCon 3. In the past, we've had amazing podcasters that I'm sure are all going to come back and be part of this amazing event. Go to reasonnc.com to make sure that you can find out when your favorite podcaster gets on that roster. Again, ReasonCon 3, April 21st and 22nd of 2017 at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Hickory, North Carolina. You are going to love it. So get your information, because you can't get tickets yet. Get it. Go to reasonnc.com. Make sure you sign up for all the information as it comes your way. I'll see you there.
All right, and welcome back to Atheist Avengers.
What, we left?
We did.
Okay.
Here we go.
Just checking.
Oh, shit, you weren't recording all that? Damn, they missed all the good stuff.
Oh, of course I recorded it. I just don't know if, this is going to be released because...
FCC or something.
You're right. There's some
Secret Service
shit that was happening during the break there.
CIA.
Yep. So we are here today with Captain Love. She's decided to stop by and say hi after quite a hiatus. Last time I think you... Yay! Last time... I don't even remember.
See, that was so much better.
See?
Now I feel welcome.
Okay, I'll have to remember to keep the sound effects up and ready to go. Just nuts, these people.
It's been at least 10 months.
Oh, you know what I haven't checked lately? Oh, I was like, I hope the Atheist Avengers site was still up because I hadn't checked it since we swapped the
shit.
domain.
And I totally forgot to look too.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out when the last time, it's been a long freaking time ago that you were on the show.
It's probably been close to a year.
Jeez. Yeah. Because, the last show I did.
I'm thinking it hasn't been since like August of last year.
I'm thinking the paranormal show.
That was just you.
And you were on Skype and I was turned away from you. So you were like trying to get my attention. I'd be like, so you hardly got to talk at all during that because you can't. I told you just got to just jump in there.
Well, I was trying to, but I hate the, 2 or 3 episodes of podcasts I've ever listened to when people are talking over the top of each other, or I hate when I'm doing a show, which is why I like when we can all look at each other, because I hate when you're like, and that's all you hear. And nobody's getting a word in edgewise. It just starts to get a little crazy. And I'm just like, no.
It makes it a lot better when we can be in the studio.
I try to talk over him.
I just do it.
Nobody wants to hear him.
But I not even on the show. I just do that in general.
Yeah. We don't want to hear him.
I am appreciative of having a co-host that can come hang out with us.
Yeah,
in the studio,
it's nice.
So
it's important.
It is. But you're all the way down there at the beach, so
I know it's
you can drive up anytime you want, but it's
really a rough
quite
life.
a commute to do a free
really
podcast.
Is. And I have to put on pants.
Well, you don't have to.
You don't have to. You can wear a bikini or something.
Which, I literally, this is sad. I have more like bathing suit outfits than I have like real people clothes, like, everyday clothes. Cause I pretty much live in a bathing suit.
It really isn't. It's like real stuff. It's not pajama bottoms or anything.
Nope.
You dressed up for us, actually.
Okay, since I've retired, I hardly ever wear pajama bottoms, and it's only on a cold night because I got some cute like legging ones that have like kind of a Christmassy thing going on.
Opt for the no pants.
Yeah, but I pretty much live in shorts, flip flops, and tank tops. And that's it.
Yeah,
and I rarely do my hair, put on makeup. Well, I got permanent makeup, so now I don't have to do shit. It's really nice. But the worst thing about that, love my permanent makeup, but I used to have really, really long eyelashes. They were blonde, so you couldn't see them. But when I put mascara on, I always looked like I had these like really cool fake ones. Well, after I got the tattooing done, which is all it is, it's just permanent makeup, it's just a tattoo. Like my eyelashes fell out and it all scabbed over, and now they've come back and they're all like kind of sparse and short. I'm like, you motherfuckers stole my eyelashes.
Why didn't you get the whole Latino inner city gang purple eyebrow thing?
I should have. And actually, my hair doesn't have any crazy colors in it. Usually my hair has pink along the whole bottom underneath.
Well, I mean, this is audio only. You could have said that your hair had anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I usually have pink in my hair, which is kind of funny when I hang around a bunch of other retirees, most of which are twice my age. And they're like, is that real? Like, is that permanent? And I'm like, yeah, it's my hair color. I put it in there. I own it. It's mine now. Hot pink.
So you just from the fact of where you live, Myrtle Beach, and the people you hang around with are a lot of retirees.
Yeah.
Right?
Most of our friends are, and our day usually consists of like getting up. I usually have like a protein shake. And then we'll like walk on the beach.
Is that what you call it? There's protein in there.
Well, I bet your husband calls it,
And it's funny because I almost said, I really wish I would have now because my favorite's banana protein shake. So I really wish I'd have started with that. Damn it, I really just flopped on that one.
Banana protein shake. Oh, I know what. No, nobody tell my wife I'm going to use that one. I'm going to surprise her with it.
The banana split.
Baby, you want a banana protein shake? Would you like one? See what happens when Captain Love shows up? Shit just goes right. We're driving along, having a good time on the highway, and she just jerks the wheel right into the gutter.
I like it there.
Right into the ditch. And then, no, we don't get back on the road. We just stay in the ditch.
You try. He's like calling AAA and shit. I'm like, fuck that, knocking the phone out of his hand. Fuck AAA. We're staying right
ditch.
here.
So being around some older people, retirees, have you run across any? Let me ask this first. Are there anybody that knows about your activism in atheism, and do a lot of people know that? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
I think a lot of people do.
Do they tend to be more accepting, or have you found any judgment on that?
I've had a couple people make like a couple comments like, oh, I saw that you used to do that. And I'd just be like, uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it.
Like, if they're not going to ask me a specific question, I'm not going to like go into some descriptive whatever. It's funny. Most of the people that were around are older retirees. Oh God, let me tell you this because this was great. And it really made me love my neighborhood. So I live what's called the Market Common area. And it's one of those like, urban area things.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a movie theater and a bookstore and restaurants
awesome.
and bars.
We jump on the golf cart and we ride over to everything.
I ride my golf cart everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which in South Carolina, you have to get insurance and you have to have like registration and shit for your golf cart. It's kind of funny to me. But our insurance was like $95 for the year, full coverage, no deductible. So if somebody steals or busts my golf cart, don't anybody steal my damn golf cart. I will hunt you down. But my insurance pays for it, which is great. And then registration was $5 for 3 or 5 years. I mean, it's nothing. Wow. But yeah, so there's movie theaters and restaurants and bars. There's a bookstore. There's a bunch of little clothing things. There's several parks where they put on, at night they do free movies outside. They put on concerts. They have all kinds of food festivals. Last weekend we went to a fashion show. And it was to benefit homeless teens in our area.
Oh, that's cool.
They have a program there. I think it's called Hope Foundation, Hope something. And it's basically teenagers that are homeless. This foundation, if they are actively pursuing their high school diploma, this organization supports them, gets them there, helps them get into college, whatever it is that they want to do. And so all the clothing stuff that they did on the fashion show was from all the stores in our little market common. So it was really cool. So it was all very local. But there are several neighborhoods that kind of surround. It's the old Air Force Base, in Myrtle Beach.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it's a great little area. We're right across the street from the state park, which is the best beach there. Another good story. That used to be part of the Air Force Base because back in Jim Crow days, blacks and whites couldn't be on the same beach. Well, the Air Force said, we're not going to allow our airmen to be segregated. These are our people and they're going to have their own beach. So the Air Force set up this section of beach that was just for the military. Well, so when the military, base closed down, a lot of, developers and stuff, builders, they bought out land area to put in housing in this nice little shopping area. But the beach part with the little park, in front of it, the state took it as a state park. And it's beautiful. It's well maintained. They have lots of children's programs. Once a year, they do an amazing race. And it's teams of 2 that race all over the park. You actually learn a bunch of stuff about the turtles that are there and stuff about nature. It's really cool. But this whole area is there. Beautiful beach. You get a yearly pass. So that's the beach we go to. So within less than a mile and a half of my house is everything I could possibly need. Grocery store, a bookstore, movie theater, restaurants, bars. And so that's my whole life. And so now I joke if we go to like Target, which is 3 miles away, I'm like, oh my God, we have to get in the car. It's so far.
So you brought the car here instead of the golf cart. Okay. I was wondering why it took you 10 months to get here.
They came in the golf cart. It just took a while.
Well, it said 10 months. I was just wondering.
Right.
So sorry, I know this is a really long story to get to some of the points I'm going to make, but so that's my neighborhood and we love it. There are some young families in there,
Right.
New couples starting out, that kind of thing. But most of who has moved there so far has been retirees.
Right.
So in kind of the center near where the movie theater and shops and stuff are, there's also a city gym. And then there's these huge ball fields, which all the traveling baseball teams and hockey teams come through there like all year round. There's constantly some tournament going on there. It's crazy. Well, right across the street from that was this opening of land. And originally it was going to be a new housing development. Builders came in, put up 2 or 3 model homes and then went belly up. So these homes sat boarded up for years. So a church came through and wanted to buy that. And they were going to put in this really beautiful modern church. They had all these great pictures. It looks really cool. And my father, who's also an atheist, and my husband and I were sitting there going, shit. Like we really didn't want it. There's one church in our whole area. And it's the church that was on the Air Force Base, 50 years ago. And so far they've been kind of cool. They don't do anything annoying. They don't show up to shit. They just kind of do their own thing. I'm totally good with them. And so we're all trying to decide if we're going to go to the city council meeting and bitch about this church. We don't want it. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm out of the movement. I'm retired. I'm trying to enjoy life. I'm not trying to get involved in shit. Excuse me. So, we just kind of let it go. Well, my dad wound up going last minute. I guess he was bored. Happy hour hadn't started yet, I'm sure. And so he goes and he said it was the greatest thing he'd ever seen. He was floored. All the neighbors in the neighborhood got up, pissed off. We don't want no damn church here. You're not going to put a church here. So the guy that's trying to talk to the city council has all these plans, has like a slideshow presentation. My dad said he got 8 minutes in, started packing up his shit and leaving because he couldn't get an edge word. He couldn't get in an edge word because everybody was chanting, no church, no church, no church. This is not an atheist community. A lot of my neighbors are Catholic and Presbyterian, and they've all told me this. And, I think they go to church on like Easter and Christmas. The rest of the time, they're all about happy hour, just like the rest of us. But they didn't want a church there. And it's so funny because most of their reasoning was churches bring bad people. They're going to have, AA meetings. They're going to have NA, the Narcotics Anonymous. They're going to be trying to help out the homeless. So they're going to have like a soup kitchen, and they're like, we don't want bad people in our neighborhood.
Oh.
But the idea that they thought a church brought bad people made me laugh. And granted, we should help out our community, but the fact that in their minds, church equals bad people just was hysterical to me. That was like the greatest thing I'd ever heard.
That's what we think for different reasons, though.
Yes.
Right.
So there's no church there, and instead, another neighborhood went in.
Cool.
Wow.
Well, you seem like you're enjoying things down there, and it seems like
I know exactly actually where you're talking about. There's a Denny's right in there, that parking lot area too, I think, isn't there? Or near it? Or am I too far down?
Well, see, there's a lot down. That whole area has developed quite
That's what I'm
a
saying.
bit.
I haven't been to Myrtle Beach in probably, 10 years now? Gosh.
You would be so lost and freaked out. We went and looked in this area, the Market Common area, just over 2 years ago. We're probably looking at 26, 27 months ago. And when we rolled in, there was a few buildings. There was a lot of mud.
Right.
A lot of dirt piles, a couple of houses. There was nothing. I mean, it just looked like nothing. And we're rolling through this going, my dad just spent like $250,000 on a house in here. And why? Like, what the hell is this? We went back. No, I guess that was about 30 months ago. We went back about 2 years ago. So literally only like 3 to 5 months had passed. And suddenly there was all these shops and there was a bunch of houses and there was all these like park things. Huge sidewalks. Wow. Everything's lit all the time. We have dog parks. They have like a running club and a biking club and a walking club. And there's a bunch of ducks. There's several ponds. They all have ducks.
I wouldn't recognize
and there's signs. There's signs.
Ducks.
Yeah.
Well, there's signs everywhere that say ducks have the right of way. And they're funny. They actually cross in the crosswalk. No shit. You're driving down the road. You come up to like a crosswalk. It's got the little white painted lines in the road. And for pedestrians. And you'll see the ducks like stop. And they'll like look over at you and all the traffic stops. And they're like trucking along. Yep. Right through the. And so, I mean, in that, just in a matter of months, I didn't even know where the hell I was.
Wow.
I didn't realize we were in the exact same area. I thought we were in a different part of Myrtle.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like the Myrtle bitch. Myrtle bitch. That doesn't sound like the Myrtle bitch I used to know.
We're going to go on down to the Myrtle Bitch.
Now, if you go into like the center, like city center of Myrtle Beach, it's still very touristy. It's Hotel Row. You know, there's the Broadway at the beach. Some of that's pretty cool and it's fun to people watch once in a while, but I'm kind of not into crowds. So I like my little area down on the south side. So we're in South Myrtle.
Everybody I've ever known that's lived in an area like that, the only time they go to those places are when they've got guests visiting. Like when we come down and we went out to do the Broadway on the beach.
Yeah. Well, I think the last time my wife and I went, we went to Surfside. So,
and I'm like a couple, maybe a block from my house is the Surfside line. So we're in South Myrtle.
Yeah, that's we try to stay away from all of the touristy things.
It's great. I mean, it's really a great place to live. I love that we can take a golf cart everywhere. It's electric. We plug it in, charge the battery. I think a battery.
See, that's why it took 10 months.
Stop charge.
One charge goes 48 hours. Like you can drive for 48 hours on one charge. I mean, we keep it more charged up than that, but
how fast does it go? I'm trying to figure out if you can make it here on one charge.
Probably 20 to 35 miles per hour.
It goes 25. Normally they start about 15, but we did, there's something you buy and you plug shit in and then it goes faster.
You might have to stop to charge it one time.
Right.
Although, let me tell you, from our house to IKEA in Charlotte is about 3.5 hours. I know I've timed it because I've been there numerous times. And so we came through yesterday, went to IKEA, and it took us just over 5 hours between the tourist traffic in Myrtle and then all the construction traffic crap in Charlotte. That was a shitty drive. I was like, we could have taken the fucking golf cart. This is terrible.
And then they spent 5 hours in IKEA.
So we got Captain
We
Love.
couldn't because the trip took so damn long. I only got an hour and 15 minutes in IKEA. I was kind of pissed off. I'm not gonna lie.
And we went there one day and
then
we were there
late.
for like 8 hours inside IKEA. Because
they're huge. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is the funny
that's
part.
just because you got lost and couldn't find your way out.
Do you want to know what I went for, though? Because this is the funniest part.
Wait, Demanda, did you leave him in the kids area where he could play? And
There's a lot of fun toys in there, aren't there?
There
I mean,
are.
like, seriously, you could have
Yeah.
a good time in there. So we drove 3.5, or drove a little over 5, should have been 3.5 hours to go to IKEA for napkins.
Mhm. Oh, for napkins.
They have, yeah, well, and they've got, it's paper napkins, but they're nice and big. I love their big napkins. So you don't
Yes.
have to use 12 napkins. You can use one.
Exactly.
But it's a specific color teal that only they carry. And I know because I've been to every party store, Target, Walmart. I've been online, even like Oriental Trading, looking for this teal, and they don't carry it. And IKEA is the only one that has it.
We have
and it
those.
goes with my kitchen.
We have those.
Yeah.
And the straws, the
Yeah.
funky straws.
So I only bought 10 packages of napkins yesterday because we're going to Dragon Con next month. And there's an IKEA in Atlanta, so I figured I'd get some more then. So yes, I drove
Speaking of
all the
that,
way for napkins.
We're talking about trying to go down for that Saturday.
Oh.
Y'all interested?
She's got to work Saturdays.
Well, it sounds like Major Mac and Wyatt Mathers is going to make an appearance at Dragon Con without promoting secular feminism.
Oh, wow.
How about that shit?
She would kick my ass.
I was going to say, but Captain Love will be there. And just look for it. You'll see it on the badge.
It'll
say Captain
she
Love.
don't have
Can't
any
miss me.
headphones on. We don't have to tell her.
That's true.
We'll just think she won't know. I'm covering my mouth so she can't see me.
That's true. Yeah, she's giving me the
Dragon Con. So if you're Dragon Con, look for Captain Love. Because that's
I'll
what
be
your
there.
badge going to say.
My badge says Captain Love,
there
and
you
I'll
go.
be in pigtails. Can't miss me.
No,
And also, if you're in the Myrtle Beach area, you can feel free to stay with Captain Love free of charge.
Fuck all of you.
in her house.
And remember that
The only stipulation of that is you have to have her phone number. to be able to call.
555, fuck off.
So, one question that I'd have from you, as somebody who was
Just
in the
one?
movement, yeah, well, I mean, we talked for a long time last night, so
Okay.
we got a lot of.
And you need to record that?
We got kind of.
We
No,
probably
I
should have.
Then you
should've.
didn't.
If
then
I'd
it
remembered to
never
bring
happened.
the damn thing, we could have.
Then it never happened.
Well, there was a lot of alcohol, so it would have been probably, unless you were drunk too,
and I
it'd be
said that
pretty
they were
easy.
like, "My dad," and then it was over there. We
See,
totally made sense to each other.
See, that's
but
an
the rest of the
episode
world,
right
yeah.
there.
So, as someone who is in the movement and has pretty much left the movement, retired from the movement, we say, what advice?
I had a movement this morning.
What advice would you give us, the people who are still kind of in the movement and want to see it progress and go forward?
Take
Do you have any
X-Lax.
advice for it? And I love putting you on the spot like this.
I know, right? One, leave your ego at the door. And if you're around people who have a big ego, walk away from them. Anybody who's got a big ego, they think they're really important in this movement. They're more important in their own head. And I guarantee you they're doing a lot less than.
I think that's one of our biggest problems you got right now is self-promotion. People are not interested in what they can do for the movement. They're interested in what can I do for people to look at me.
Yes.
And
if
that
they're
drives
looking,
me crazy.
And if they're looking for a big paycheck or you're looking for a big paycheck, you're in the wrong
No
fucking line
shit.
of work.
Speaking of that, we do have a Patreon account. You can find us at patreon.com/The Atheist Avengers.
We do?
Just by the way.
Okay.
If anybody wants to help us out making this shitty show. But
help us buy the beer.
Right.
See, and that's
So-
really, we're just looking for beer
my
money.
favorite is shitty show ever.
Hey. You can't commandeer a microphone.
You know, it's my favorite shittiest show ever too. So
Well,
I might listen to us every once in a while.
you look, what, this one right here, I mean, it barely uploads until he's calling me. He's like, hey, there was this problem on the audio. Or something. The show uploaded and the audio was wrong. It's like, I know.
Don't
I've already
you-
fixed it.
don't you miss having
Give
someone
me
like
a
me that
fucking
never
second.
listened?
He knows his
he
shit
listens.
has to be down because I'm going to call him.
Yeah. Well, what happened was when I uploaded one day, we uploaded the audio from I
you
accidentally clicked on the wrong file. And what Spreaker does is it uploads audio and you can't stop it. You got to pretty much let it upload, then you can delete it back off. Well, when it uploaded the audio, before I got it deleted back off and replaced that audio, and what I ended up uploading was remember when we did the Q&A at the Atheist Alliance of America thing?
Yeah.
It uploaded the audio from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So before I could get it deleted and put it, this motherfucker is sending me messages.
It wrong. You did it wrong.
It's the wrong audio. I was like, thank you. I'm really glad that he's on top of it. I'm really glad because you would have never caught it.
Nope, sure wouldn't have.
So I was like, I know. I've already deleted it. I've already fixed it. Only people who have it set to automatically download is going to get that special edition audio.
And I got it.
So, but anyway, so back to what we were talking about. Number one.
Yeah, just, leave the ego at the door and kind of avoid people or organizations that are very ego driven. And then kind of think of what's important to you. Are you trying to make sure everybody knows what an atheist is and you want atheism on everything out there? Or are you really wanting to give back to your community? Are you trying to change the world, our future, and kind of figure out what's important to you? And to be honest with you, I don't really care which it is, but make sure you're with an organization that's really kind of promoting more of what you want.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is if you're just really all about atheism and that's important to you, you're a firebrand and you're an atheist, don't join a humanist group because you show up and you're like, atheism. And a lot of the humanists are like, holy shit, like sit down. So kind of figure out what it is that's important to you. I would hope that for everybody, what's important is giving back to their community. And I think it's important that, like, even though I'm retired, I'm not shy that I'm an atheist. I didn't stop being an atheist. I just stopped being an activist.
You didn't mean you didn't start believing again?
It's been tempting a few times, let me tell you. No, and I literally, when I walked away from the movement, one of the last things I said was, it's really bad when I miss church and being a Christian because I felt better as a human being than I do right now as an atheist in this movement. I knew that shit had gone to shit. Like that was, things had gotten so far out of control and out of hand, and the shit that I was having to deal with was so bad that I literally was starting to think that maybe the Christians were better.
Wow.
Don't ever let yourself get to that point.
Donald Trump won the nomination.
And then all was right in my world again. Yeah, don't let yourself get to that point, and don't push other people to that point.
Yeah.
Let's be kind to one another. One of my favorite things, I used to talk about them all the time, but the Moonshine Jesus show. If you haven't heard that podcast, you really should. I love the guys on there, especially Reverend Mark Sandlin. Great guy. He was kind of one of the founder guys of the liberal, the Christian left. And he is a Christian, but he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's really about giving back. And one of the things that he says all the time, and I quote him all the time, is if your religion is causing you to hate people or do harm, find a new religion. And so I feel the same way about the atheist movement. If being involved in the atheist movement is causing you to hate or do harm, then get out.
Take a break.
Yeah, walk away for a bit, reevaluate what's going on in your head. I think it's important that we make the world a better place. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're, Christian or an atheist or any other thing on the spectrum, that at the end of the day, we're all neighbors sharing this planet.
Yeah.
And I think we need to look out for one another.
I very much like Mark Sandlin.
He's one of my favorite people.
Yeah, you have.
He's, there's so many things that we agree on.
Yeah.
There's only one thing that Mark and I, as far as everything I've ever read that he's written, talking to him.
And it's such a tiny thing, really.
And it is. It's really insignificant, which is the reason why I believe the whole interfaith conversation is important. Because
it's a place to start.
We have an interfaith council here in Hickory, North Carolina for the first time ever. And the humanists were specifically invited to be part of this, which I thought was amazing. And they wanted our perspective because they realized, or at least the people involved in this realized, that there are common ground. There's common things that we all agree on that we can make some really super strides in. And
I agree.
This one thing that we don't agree on, what the fuck does it even matter?
It doesn't matter.
So
it really
let's
it really
focus
doesn't.
on these things. Let's focus on equality. Let's focus on people homelessness and these things that are affecting people that are not. Doesn't have anything to do with religion. Doesn't have anything to do with their beliefs. It has to do with the social situation that they're in. We can all agree on that. We can work towards those things. So I have a lot of respect for Mark, and I appreciate his opinion. Yeah, we don't agree on that one thing, but who cares?
He's a really good guy.
Doing good things.
I got to go to, it was a 4-day Christian festival outside. Yes, and I had to specify that it was a festival outside because we all know I don't like being outside, and I camped for 4 days. And I still think, I should get some kind of medal out of this. I'm still waiting for my medal. Anyways, I went to table with Be Secular. That's one of the organizations, folks. If you're looking for an organization that actually gives a shit and does good things, check out Be Secular. It's one of my favorite organizations.
Bring up Major Mac. You are a bad influence on me. Throwing me another beer.
Oh my God.
I was going to bring up Be Secular, and we definitely want to talk about them because one of the things that I really like about what they're doing is the whole normalized atheism.
Yes.
I think that is one of the most important things, which is one of the things that I've always, and I'm sorry to jump in here.
No, you're good.
I've always been about, ever since I've decided to be open and out, that was the reason. Because I think that, because I look at my friends who are hardcore Republican conservative Christians, yes, how do I still be friends with them? Sometimes it's difficult, but some of them are very good people. I'm not saying, that makes them not good people. But those friends have been forced to reevaluate their opinion of an atheist.
Because of you.
They've been forced because of me, because all of a sudden they know that I'm an atheist. And that's what normalized atheism is all about. Yeah.
Which I definitely
getting
want.
out there and saying, we're normal people.
Yeah, my coworkers think they're all dicks.
Yeah.
Because they know me.
And I think.
So you're not representing us very well.
Yeah. And I definitely want to talk about, normalized atheism. But I actually got to meet, Mark Sandlin and David, who's his co-host on the show, at this outdoor Christian festival that I was at for 4 days. So I was actually around them personally, shared a beer with them, sat around a campfire after too many drinks, and, we kind of shot the shit and laughed and joked. So I know them as human beings, most of all, not as somebody on Facebook, not as a podcaster, not as a reverend. I actually know them as people, and they're really good people. And I love that that's their message, this whole giving back. And so I was so glad to hear Wyatt bring up the Interfaith Council thing, because when I was still living in Asheville, I was actually on the panel and had been for quite a few years. I'd been invited to join, I guess it was about 5 or 6 years ago. And so I'd sat on the Interfaith, and it was probably longer than that. I keep forgetting I've been retired and lived in Myrtle for a bit. But I sat on the panel, and it's so important because, and I cannot stress this enough, it doesn't matter what you identify as religion or non-religion. We're human beings. We're people, and people deserve to be treated with respect. They deserve a living wage. They deserve a home. They deserve happiness. Kids should be able to go to college. These are all things that I think as human beings, and there are people out there that I'm not sure are human beings. Donald Trump in his tiny hands. But most of us are human beings, and I think those are things we can come together on. And I think that's really important, that we keep that dialogue open. And so I get firebrand atheism. I understand why it's there, but I really wish that we would focus more on being a social justice warrior. That's right. I said it. Social justice warriors.
You heard it here on the Atheist Avengers.
And now you're going to kill me because guess what?
Uh-oh.
I have to pee.
Well, we're actually out of time, believe it or not.
Oh.
Can you believe it?
Well, I guess we'll have to talk about normalized atheism another time.
Well, we can do that. We can take a little short break and come back and talk about that.
I was going to say, or we can, do another show another time. It's fine. I don't care. I just have to pee now.
Why don't we
and it's really your fault because we
get...
took the last break, and I told you I didn't have to pee, and you kept going. Do you have to pee? Do you have to pee? Do you have to pee?
Totally your fault.
You kept saying pee, and so then you got pee stuck in my brain, and now I have to pee.
Oh, it's my fault.
Of course, it's your fault. God.
It's like trickling water now. Drip.
Why don't we do this? I really want to. That's not helping. So we'll try to get Mark and Shannon or something.
I think it'd be a great idea.
Yeah, and try to get them on to talk about normalized
And Shannon's
atheism.
way cooler. I'm just saying. Not because she's like my bestie or anything. I'm just saying she's cooler.
What they do, I love them to death. I think they're
really good people, and they do really good things,
Yeah.
and they genuinely care about human beings, which is why I love them.
And probably what they're doing deserves more than just a few minutes talking about it.
I agree.
We'll get them on the show, and we'll
think it's a
have
great
you
idea.
back if you want to come back.
Sure, I will come back.
But, I want to wrap this up. Get a little sentimental here for a minute. I've told you before, when I first started in this movement, when I first started my humanist group, you were my mentor. You were the one who gave me all the ideas.
You guys need a moment. I need to get out of it. Do I need to leave?
Sorry, I'm going to get a little choked up here. It's okay. It's good. It's good. Motions are good.
You are the one who pushed me to do this podcast. You're the whole reason that any of this, you could be partially responsible for even jump-starting the promoting secular feminism and, all those things. So, thank you for doing that. The work that you've done, it's time for other people to pick up and go with it.
Yes, I agree.
So it's okay that you're retired and you've done your job. And so you enjoy life and have fun, and you're always welcome to come back here and hang out with us anytime.
Well, thank you. And I want this movement to continue, and I want people to be involved, which is why I waited almost a year before I spoke.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I would have talked right in that moment as I was getting away from all of it, I was so negative and so angry and so hurt.
Sure.
I would have just spewed more negativity, and none of us need that, especially after the last several months, not just what's happening in the movement, but politics. Come on. We all need some more kittens and puppies.
Kittens especially, Major Mike.
Exactly.
And so I thought it was important that I took a step back for a while and got myself back together and feeling whole again. And I will never be able to express how much I appreciate you and how grateful I am for you. Fuck. Made me cry and shit, getting all emotional. I'm supposed to be the giggly one.
Don't you start, because I'll start.
I remember the very first time we met in person, and I instantly, there was this energy between us, and I felt it instantaneously, and I saw so much of myself in you, although you're not a pushover like I was. And so I really, really, I'm grateful for that. But we had this instant connection, and I knew that you were going to do amazing things, and I wasn't wrong. You have.
Well, we made a really good team for a long time. And I think still, because I still use you as a sounding board a lot. I do ask for your advice from time to time. And I think
we get on the phone and we're on the phone for hours.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
My husband will be like, you're talking to Gene. All right, I'm going to go play some video games. I'm going to go see a movie. I'm going to the gym. I'll see you later. I'm out.
But absolutely one of my best friends in the world, and you always will be. And I appreciate it. And I know your bladder's about to bust. So we're going to wrap this up now.
I'm like, drip in your seat.
We are going to have you back whenever you can. And like I said, we'll work on talking with Mark and Shannon.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I'm going to link to their stuff in the show notes and make sure everybody knows the kind of good stuff they're going on.
Mm-hmm.
Please, everyone, keep in mind that we do have a Patreon. We would
please
love
give us beer
some
money.
support.
Please, with sugar on top. Please, please.
There are even more than beer. We have website fees and podcast hosting fees and things, and it would be really nice to have some help with those things. It's I don't push that a lot because it's not why I do this. I don't know anybody.
It's not.
That would
None of
do
us
this
got
to
it
make
for the money.
Yeah.
If they got into it for the money, they were misled at some point. But yeah, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate everything that everybody does for us, and please give us some feedback if you've got some. Always listen to Demanda's in here looking at me, so I gotta say it. Always listen to Promoting Secular Feminism at promotingsecularfeminism.com.
Mm-hmm.
We love those women over there.
Yeah, we do.
I had to stop calling them
ladies.
Girls or ladies.
See, I use girls all the time. That we'd have to do a whole show on that.
That's an episode.
But girls can call each other girls. Guys got to be more respectful.
No, let's not start this shit.
Women.
Please do not start this again.
We'll do another.
I think we've mentioned this on the last 3 podcasts. Well, I don't want to talk about this shit anymore.
We'll do a show on that one time so you guys can hear my opinion.
I am just going to
I will totally come and talk about why I prefer to be called a girl, because I'm fucking old and I really appreciate it when people refer to me as a girl. I'm not that fucking old. Sorry, just saying.
This is going to be a good conversation. I love it. Oh, Major Matt, you see, this is what's happening here.
I do.
She's stealing another one of our guests. She's
right.
actually stealing an ex-co-host now.
I seen that.
You just can't trust these promoting secular feminism
We're
women.
going to have to stop inviting her. Oh, wait a minute. She's my DD. Never mind.
I know. You're going to have to you're going to have to Uber or something.
Hickory doesn't have Uber.
Oh, gosh. I'll get somebody to drive you around. No,
all right. Well, now I'm going to pee before I wet myself. So I'm just going to say, yeah, I know that you didn't even have to keep doing it. It was going on in my head after you started that. So I'm just going to say good night.
Yeah.
Much love. Peace out.
Love you.
Mic drop.
Oh, hold on. I actually have a mic to drop.
There we
Look, and you can hear it a little bit.
There we go.
That's right. So yeah, I guess this is like the first time in 2 years I've done a show with pants on.